Hello, seniors. Today we're going to be focusing on weighing your admissions decisions. So congratulations to those of you who have heard back from colleges. And for those of you who are still waiting to hear, it's going to be okay. Ultimately, you want to choose the best fit choice for you since you've done so much work over the past 4 years to get to this point. And this is an exciting time to take stock of what's important to you. And we're going to give you some tools to help you make your decision in today's webinar. Today's objective is to be able to choose the best fit next step for them. We're going to reflect on how we're feeling right now. We're going to think about types of decisions. We're going to give you some waitlist recommendations, go over intent to enroll, think a little bit about cost, talk about community college, share Summit's vision for you, remind you about updating Overgrad, and then you'll debrief with your mentor group and complete your action items. So take a minute to think about to yourself how you're feeling right now. There's so much going on this spring of your senior year as graduation gets closer. Getting good grades and finishing out the year strong might be on your mind. Some of you might be hearing from your friends that they've gotten some great college offers, and you might be thinking to yourself, I don't know when my offers are coming in. It can be stressful if you're still waiting, and we want to validate that feeling. Cost might be at the top of your mind as you think about your next step. There's so much that can be swimming around in your brain, and we want you to know that this is fine and normal. Balancing all of these things is hard, and that's why it's really important to engage with your mentor, family, and people you trust. So, college admissions, they're starting to come in the mail, email, or your portals. Typically, when we think about admissions decisions, we think about accepted or denied. There are also a number of other options to consider and think about the steps that come with them. The first is called conditional acceptance. This means the college has accepted you, but only if you can meet some conditions. Usually they want to see your grades, or you need to take a summer class or take additional tests. You'll need to follow the specific school's procedures in order to turn your conditional acceptance into a long-term acceptance. You may also hear about deferred if you applied early action or early decision. This means your application has been placed in the regular decision pool and they will review you again at a later time, and you have been freed of any enrollment obligation because remember, early decision is binding. So if your application was for a decision round, you are no longer bound to that. If you applied regular decision, the college may want more information about you before making a final decision, such as senior grades or additional test scores. Now, you're going to hear me say this 100 times, but you need to make sure you're checking your application portals, emails, and snail mail regularly to make sure you're following up on any additional steps you need to take. And then there's the wait list. A wait list means the college is done reviewing your application and will accept you only if enough people turn down their offers of acceptance. This is the one that can be a little dicey because you might think to yourself, this is my dream school, I get waitlisted, but I have these backups, so what do I do? So let's break this down. You first need to accept the waitlist by the college's deadline. At most colleges, you're not automatically added to the waitlist. You have to go into the portal and you have to fill out some sort of a form in order to opt in to be on the waitlist. That's very important if you want that school to keep as an option. So make sure you're following the procedures that are given to you by the admissions office. Secondly, you do want to submit an intent to enroll, which is a document saying this is where I'm going to go to another campus by May 1st. That's the national deadline. In case you don't get offered on the wait list, it's very important that you have an option B. You can always also call the admissions office to ask if there's anything else you can provide for the review team. You can keep in contact with the admissions office directly at the schools you're waitlisted at to make sure you're following through and giving them what they need. So what does intent to enroll mean? You've heard me say that a few times so far. It means you're accepting an admissions offer and you can only accept one school. All newly admitted students are required to accept admission by the school's deadline, and that usually that's May 1st. There is a procedure you need to fill out, and that might be on the college portal, email, or postal mail, so make sure you're keeping track of how to enroll and accept your spot. There's also a fee associated. Sometimes it's $200, $400 to $400. There are ways to get this fee deferred. So you don't have to pay until you get to school, or you can get it wrapped into your tuition to get it covered by financial aid. You just need to keep in contact with the financial aid office or the admissions office to figure out the procedure for your school. So what happens if I don't accept my admission or pay the enrollment fees by May 1st? If you miss the deadline to accept and pay, the school will rescind your admission and you will not be able to enroll at the college. This is very important. Submitting your intent to enroll is the only way to guarantee your spot. If you're having a hard time making a decision and you miss the deadline, or you think, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, unfortunately, the deadlines are very, very hard. This is the time to engage with your mentor, your family, and your school faculty to help you make the decision. If you're not sure what to do, if you need support, you can also reach out to us at the college readiness team so we can help you submit these forms. And then ultimately, how do you submit? You're going to go through your college portal for the most part. If there are any of the additional policies or procedures, you can also follow through with the college admissions office. And this is not the end, because there'll be registrations for orientation, signing up for housing, registering for your classes. These will all come down the road. So as I've said, get into the habit of checking your college portal. But before you submit that intent to enroll, you really want to think about, how do I weigh my decision? There are all these factors swirling in your mind right now, and here are some bullets that you should ask yourself and ask people in your corner to really make sure you're making the best decision for you. Based on CNS research, we've identified 7 main questions to ask yourself about whether you're truly making the best decision for your long-term goals. You can follow along on the tiny URL. First, does this next step align with my long-term goals? Can I see myself here for 4 years? Will an investment in my next step pay off in future earnings? Can I afford it? Is the next step worth it? Am I academically prepared to access and thrive at this next step? Is this the right fit for me academically? Will my family and friends support me with my next step decision? Will I miss my family? Is my support network on board with my decision? Is my next step a place that I will truly like and belong? Will I have a support network when I get to college? Am I deeply motivated to be successful in my next step, even when faced with challenges? Are my long-term goals aligned with my emerging purpose and values? If college is the next step, is it one that has been successful at supporting students like me? Does this school have a graduation rate of at least 50%? Does this school have an average debt load of less than $30,000 per degree? So this is a lot to think about, and you might be confused, but that's okay. This is a big decision, and you want to talk to your trusted allies as you think through these questions.
One of the key considerations to remember when weighing your decision is cost. At the end of the day, college is expensive. And we even heard from alumni that financial literacy skills are the top request for how Summit can better prepare them for life after high school. Check out what one alum said. Paying off student loans is a really big crutch that a lot of people in my class are struggling with. It's a really tough thing, especially going to schools, and there are limited scholarships, and a lot of the occupations now do require higher levels of education, which in turn requires more cost. Here's what we want you to keep in mind about cost. Our recommendation is that you choose a CNS where you will have a maximum indebtedness of $30,000. On a 10-year repayment plan for loans, that looks like about $250 a month plus interest. In our last webinar, we went over how this is a reasonable amount of debt to take on when you're entering the workforce with a baccalaureate degree. Make sure you're reviewing your financial aid packages and calculating how much debt you would take out over the course of your degree as you decide what pathway to pursue to make sure you're getting a quality return on the investment you're making for college. Also, remember there are ways to save money along the way. We've talked in the past about indirect costs, which are flexible areas where you can save money on your cost of attendance. Examples include transportation, do you drive to school, take the bus, walk, housing, living on campus or off campus with family, used versus new books, personal expenses. The cost of attendance calculated on your financial aid offers is an estimated amount. You have the power to make choices about indirect costs that best fit your financial situation. And ultimately, you need to talk with your family about cost. Although our recommendation is that you take out no more than $30,000 of debt for college, that number may still be too high depending on your situation. Make sure you clarify. What can we pay? What is too much? Do we need to appeal any offers to request additional aid? Should you get a summer job to start saving for college? Many of you have started discussing these questions with your family, and we want to hold up that they can be hard. And we still encourage you to continue the conversation so you can decide on the right cost for you. Now, many of you are considering alternative options to save on costs, such as community college. Let's hear from one alum about his experience going to community college. As you watch, listen and think. What is this alum's advice? And how might you apply this to your advice as you weigh your options?
Hello, my name is Henry. I'm an Everest alumni and I graduated in 2017. Today I'll be talking about my experience in community college. To begin with, I actually didn't start at a community college. I started at a UC. It wasn't until my second year that I transferred back to a community college back home. The reason for that was that it just got too expensive at a UC, so I had to find something more affordable for me and my family. What I will say is that if you're not sure what you want to pursue career-wise, UC could be a good beginning for you because you'll be exposed to all the different career paths you could take. You figure out what your passions are, and that could be a great start to figuring that out. Another thing is there's a lot of flexibility. You get to create your own school schedule, whether that be you going in the morning or you going in the afternoon, and set that around your job. Another thing is there's a lot of programs that could help you, whether that be paying off your books, tutoring, getting help with financial aid, scholarships that they offer as well. There's a lot of programs that could help you and support your success. Another thing I'll say is that I don't think it's a bad thing to start at a community college. It's a great way to save money, but it's not a bad thing because it's not where you start, it's kind of where you end. So always focus on where you want to end up at and how you'll get there. My advice would be that if you're leaning towards a community college, is to make a plan first. Speak to a counselor what you want to achieve, set up goals, and it'll help you reach your career path that you're trying to pursue. And I wish you guys the best of luck.
As with any decision, there are some pros and cons. So let's review some of the benefits and drawbacks of choosing community college. Pro: low cost of attendance, reduced amount of overall student loan debt. At the end of the day, community college costs less, and you get a 2-year degree for less price. Ultimately, even if you're transferring, you're paying less. The con, though, is that transfer and completion rates are low. 28% of students who started at community college in 2012 completed a 4-year degree within 4 years. That means 70% of students are either taking more than 4 years to complete a 4-year degree, or they are not making it to their degree completely. That means some of them are paying, going into debt, and getting no degree in the long run. Pro: live at home to save money and support family. Many of our community colleges are in our home communities, and we can get to them easily, walking, driving, taking the bus. The con is that it may lack the college experience. Most community colleges are commuter experiences. People are going to class and then going home afterwards. If you're looking to build community, it may be a little more challenging. If you're looking for more traditional experiences like in a dorm or residence hall, community college would be hard to find sometimes to fit that plan. Pro: take more time to work on foundational academic skills. Community colleges are open admission institutions, meaning they're open for anybody at any point in life seeking a degree. They're willing to work with you on some of those more foundational skills to access college. The downside is it will take additional time to your degree. If you are working on some of those more foundational skills below the 100 level, you might actually have to pay for those classes, and then it doesn't count towards your degree, which means on average, students are taking 1.5 to 2 years, even longer, to earn their four-year degree in the long run. Another pro is that not all careers actually require four-year degrees. There are some great careers like being an auto mechanic, a nurse, chef, cosmetologist, firefighter, even more, that don't require a four-year degree that you can go to a community college and learn more about. The drawback is that there is lower earning potential than a bachelor's degree. Research has shown that an adult with an associate's degree, that's a two-year degree, earns an average of $500,000 less over their lifetime than an adult with a bachelor's degree. We encourage you to keep talking to those who trust in your life, your family, your mentor, your friends, about if community college would be the best fit for you, and keep these pros and cons at the forefront of your decision. And ultimately, everyone at Summit wants the world for you, and we're so proud of what you've accomplished. You've probably heard your school faculty talk about the Summit mission before, but we really want to ground your decision-making in our vision at Summit. Our vision is that we are dedicated to ensuring every student can lead a fulfilled life, one with purposeful work, financial security, fulfilling personal relationships, engagement in the community, and the physical health needed to engage in daily life. This statement is the backbone of what we want you to keep in mind. We want you to head after high school on a pathway that leads you on the road to a fulfilled life. You have worked so hard over your years in high school, and you've earned every option in front of you. So your mentors, school faculty, and family all want you to make a decision that can lead you to work that you define as purposeful, so you can find financial security in a place where you feel connected and a sense of belonging. And we're so excited about where you're here to hear about where you choose to go. So we can celebrate your success and support you along the way. Make sure you're regularly updating Overgrad with your admissions decisions and where you're submitting your intent to enroll. This is important because we use Overgrad data for where to send your final transcript at the end of the year. Colleges look to see your progress at the end of senior year, and the way we know where to send your transcript is what you've recorded in Overgrad. If you choose not to record your admission statuses in Overgrad, then your admission may be in jeopardy of not being completed without your final transcript. Secondly, what you record in Overgrad supports future students. Overgrad has features where students can see where alumni have been admitted and compare their academics and qualifications to better predict their admissions chances. Taking time to input this info will help many graduating classes to come. And lastly, we're so excited for you. Recording your decisions in Overgrad allows us to celebrate you and your accomplishments. To update, go to Applications, View Applications, then click the three dots on the right side of each college and click Edit Application Info. For each school you apply to, change the status of your admissions decision, accepted, waitlisted, etc., and ultimately enrolled. Keep this going as you continue to receive decisions throughout the spring. So let's pause here. Take 10 minutes now to debrief with your mentor group. What did you hear? Why is this work important? What did this make you think about? And what questions do you have? Pause the video for 10 minutes, and then when you're ready, press play. So for our action items today, here's a menu of potential actions you need to take depending where you are in the admissions process. 1, check your portals regularly. This is where you're starting to see admissions decisions, financial aid offers, important to-do items. Making sure you stay on track with these to-dos is going to help make sure that you can get to your plan in the fall. 2, submit your financial aid application if needed, and be sure to accept your financial aid offer. If you have not yet submitted your FAFSA, WASPA, or California Dream Act, we still encourage you to submit that as soon as possible so you can still get some financial aid. Especially some of you are applying to promise programs, tuition discount programs, or specific financial aid options, scholarships, etc. You need to make sure your application is in to be considered for these programs. Next, submit your intent to enroll by May 1st. Make sure you're discussing with your family, mentor, and friends first. Our research has shown that students who really engage with those who they trust in their life to help make this decision together are more likely to both attend in the fall and persist all the way through to their degree. So really rely on those who you trust to help you make this decision. Make sure you're updating Overgrad with all of your admissions decisions so we can support you and celebrate you along the way. And then if you ever want to talk one-on-one, please contact us at collegereadiness@summitps.org. We want to be partners in your corner as you weigh what is a tough decision, but also a really exciting one in front of you. So take a moment, review this menu, choose where do you need to start today, and let's get to work.